Yes, there he is.
I was trying to get online, but I think I'm successful.
Wonderful. Yeah, welcome to the podcast, and glad we made it. Thanks for joining the SPRTER Podcast. Let me introduce you to our audience.
Awesome.
So we have Ariel Okall on the podcast, who's a professional basketball player, made multiple appearances for the Kenyan national basketball team, earning 2-time Defensive Player of the Year honors in the process, and played for in a number of countries, including the Seychelles, which is super exciting. I want to talk more about that later on. Oman, Uganda, Algeria, Kenya. So gotten around quite a lot through basketball. So currently playing for Al-Bashir. How do I pronounce it?
I've actually moved from Al-Bashir. I am now with NAM Blazers in Kampala, Uganda.
Oh, all right. You're currently in Uganda.
Yes.
So welcome to the SPRTER Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Also want to make sure that we mention the experience store that Ariel has set up on the SPRTER app. Anyone who wants to learn more, get to connect with him more, experience some of these awesome things that he's offering there. I've seen nutritional advice, I've seen game film reviews, Zoom calls, behind the scenes, lots of awesome things. So head over to the SPRTER app, check out his profile there. But let's delve into, how did you start playing basketball? How did you then progress playing basketball?
I started at 16 years old, late bloomer. So I was motivated by some of the guys in my high school, and I started slowly playing street basketball. You know, in Africa, most of the time, facilities for basketball, we don't have it. Compared to the first world countries in the United States and all that. So the progress was slow, but after 3-4 years, I was already playing professional basketball. So it looked like it is kind of slow, but it was really fast.
Yeah, that sounds like, I mean, as you're saying, late bloomer. With 16, my basketball career was over because everyone kept growing and I stopped growing. So
I kind of feel like the athleticism and the height played a part to ensure that I progressed really quick in the game of basketball.
I bet that's usually a big advantage, but obviously it's also a lot of the grind and the motivation to wanting to continue playing. So when did you realize that, hey, I'm actually really good at that, I could make it pro?
I was 20. And then I felt like if I give myself a period of 5 years, if I work really hard, maybe I'll make it to the pros. It wasn't guaranteed. I was into soccer by that time because soccer is big in my country. So basketball, people didn't take basketball seriously. So when you say you want to go pro in basketball, nobody takes you seriously. But I put my heart into it. I put the work that I'm supposed to put. By 25, I think I played my first pro league in Oman.
That's interesting. So you gave yourself 5 years. It's like, okay, this is the time window. If I don't make it in this time, I'm going to play soccer or do something else.
Because I did in school, in the university, I did bachelor's of education. So technically, I'm a teacher by profession. So I could have gone back to teaching by 25 if basketball didn't do things for me, but fortunately it did.
And it's also taken you to multiple countries in that process. Can you talk me through that? How do you decide whether you join a team in a specific country? Is it something like, hey, I've never been there, want to go? Or what are some of the reasons that make you join different teams in different countries?
The urge to win and putting myself in a team that has a great tradition and good welfare. So for me, when I decided to join a team, I first look how organized is the team, and what are my chances of thriving in their system and a chance to win a championship. These are the main things that you look at, because and also sometimes you have to move to countries you have never been to. You have to look at their culture over there, like playing in the Middle East. It's Muslim countries most of the time, and you have to see if you're comfortable being in a society like that. So it's a lot of things. You look at a lot of things before deciding where you want to play.
Yeah, and I can only imagine that those different cultures play a big role in the not just the way you play, but also the way you live and the way you train and the way you interact as well. You've been playing in Oman quite a while for different teams and going back and forward almost.
Yeah, I've been to, I think, 4 teams now. I started with Al Sidab in 2015. I played there for back-to-back season, 2015 and 16. Then I did 16 and 17. Then I left for a while. I went back there again. I played for the Far Club in the same league. Then I left. I came back to Al Bashair. We won a championship. I left again. Then I went back to my former team, Al Zidab, and I think we finished third in the league.
So very successful. And when you win a championship with one team, then you are transferring to another team that finishes third. Yeah. So certainly there's got to be some rivalry there. How do fans take it when you come to play for one of their rivals now? It's like, hey, actually, we're competing for the same thing.
I mean, sometimes when you win a championship with one team, the camaraderie, the brotherhood remains. So even if you leave and go, because you don't leave in bad blood, you leave because the other team has a better offer, and they have something a little bit better than the team that you are in. So when I left, I don't think the competition was there, because when you play a team that you used to play for, you actually try to go at them. They also try to go at you, but the brotherhood doesn't stop existing. We are good friends. It's just the competition on the floor, but off the court, we are very good friends.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the Seychelles sounds like such an exotic place to live and play basketball. Can you talk us a little bit through that experience?
I was there for a whole season, 7 months. And it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place. You wake up in the morning, the house is by the beach. Everything, even the court is by the beach. So if you love the sea and you love the beach and the sand, you are going to have a really good time playing in the Seychelles. And they have really awesome basketball culture and fans. They are very engaging. So if you play there, it's like one whole big family, the fans, the teams. You know, everybody there just shows love.
That sounds phenomenal. Now, when you talk about courts by the beach, are you playing outdoors there, as in, or is it like in the US you only see big arenas, or mostly big arenas, training facilities, sheltered off from the fans, whereas like that seems almost like you need to be playing outdoors and.
In the Seychelles, most training courts are outdoor, but they have 2 arenas. They have the main stadium with the one big arena, then they have one specifically built for basketball games. And I didn't get a chance to play in that one that they made for basketball, but I had a chance to play in the main stadium, and it was really a great experience. I didn't expect it to be like that, but when I got there, I had a lot of fun.
That sounds, as I said, it sounds like such an amazing place to be, and then to be a professional athlete there. It's one of those places where I'm like, I want to go there just on vacation experience. You actually got to work there. That's amazing.
I might go back again. I feel like I should spend 3-4 years there, maybe in the future.
Okay. I mean, it seems like they can always use good basketballers there. So
Yeah.
you also, off the court, you are running the doctor's report, which you guys doing a pretty awesome job in promoting basketball. But talk us through and talk our listeners through what you're doing there and what was the motivation behind it.
The doctor's report, it's a platform where we focus on highlighting the game of basketball, especially in East Africa, mostly Kenya, my country. And we, follow up on some of our players who are overseas, some of our players locally. We try to do interviews. We try to put their names out there so that people can see them, people can see what they are about. Probably, we hope that some of the kids back home will get scholarships overseas, teams overseas. So it's just a platform to elevate the game of basketball. We started it in 2020 during the lockdown, the pandemic, when the pandemic was up there. So by now it has grown, it's huge, and people love the doctor's report. I think in the next 2-3 years, it's gonna be something that everybody will want to be in there. Yeah.
And I've followed along on this doctor's report. I've seen that you are also doing a really good job in highlighting the Lioness, so the women's basketball.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that in terms of we have that push for more equality and highlighting women's basketball more. So awesome job on that as well. Now, where does the state of basketball, where is it in Kenya, in particular for men's and women's basketball? Where do you see it growing in the future?
Now, like a while ago, the game wasn't that developed, but the last 4 years, I think we have had a lot of progress, especially in the men's side, because the men's team were not doing so well in international competitions. And our national team right now is actually ranked internationally and also within Africa. We have done a good job. For the first time, I think we are playing in the World Cup qualifiers.
Nice.
We'll have our second qualifying rounds the 1st to the 3rd of July.
Okay.
So we are hoping for good things to happen. On the women's side had a lot of success compared to the men, because they used to participate in the AfroBasket Championship. They've had an appearance in the World Cup in I think around 15 to 20 years ago. They did appear in Australia. I don't have the history, I'll check, but they had quite a lot of success. Right now, they are the regional champions, and I think they finished 8th or 9th in the African Championship. So the game has grown, and we have kids now who are coming up who are going to take this game to a different level. I hope that they get the support they need. And if that is going to happen, we are going to have really good basketball for Kenya.
And there's also a lot of talent in Kenya and a lot of talent in Africa. The NBA has recently realized that with the NBA Africa and pushing.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my friends is working as their business development manager for growing the game for the NBA in Africa. How do you see the NBA pushing into Africa, helping, or what is their role in developing, helping to support or the growth, or maybe not even helping, basically saying, hey, we want to take all of the money out of this. How do you see this role?
The NBA, they have launched the new league, the Basketball Africa League, that they are doing in partnership with FIBA, and it's growing. I think it's growing the game because most of the players who are playing in Africa and even outside Africa, everybody wants to come and take part in the league. And also when the NBA comes in, they are well organized, they have good structures, they have good facilities. So when they came, I think even me, I'm looking forward to play in the Basketball Africa League. I think it's a dream for a lot of players right now. And to even go in there and win in that platform, I think it's going to mean something to our specific countries, the countries that we come from. So the NBA, we appreciate the fact that the NBA is even doing that in Africa, because we needed it. We needed it. And I feel like also in 2-3 years, everybody will want to come and play in Africa. Before, people wanted to get out of Africa, go to Europe, China, the United States. But now, we even have ex-NBA players playing in the Basketball Africa League. So I think everybody will want to come back home and play here. So I think we will have more opportunities for players. You can look up to playing in the NBA, Europe, and also even playing here in Africa, which is a good thing.
No, I also think it's great how they're pushing and supporting and growing the game globally. And I agree, there is so much talent that this is going to be really, really good
Yes.
for the content, for the growth of the game overall. Now, we do have a segment that we call Pro Advice, where some of our listeners, follow us, ask us a question that we then can forward to you.
Mm-hmm.
So our pro advice question to you is, I want to play pro, but the NBA doesn't look likely. How do I go about finding a team abroad?
The easiest way is signing with an agency, because when you have an agent, it's easy for the agent to find jobs for you. And the most difficult one is trying to find teams yourself, which is not easy, because you have to be really connected, or you have to have friends who are already playing professional basketball to hook you up with tryouts, workouts with teams. But the easiest one will be finding your game film and getting an agency, get an agent to try and sell you out there to teams. And I think it's not that hard. If you have good film, you're going to get a team.
Okay, great advice. Now, I want to follow up on that. When you say get an agent, I'm sure there are plenty of agents around there that will want to sign you right off the bat. Now, how do you determine who is a good agent for you? Or how do people determine who's a good agent for them?
It's hard. It's hard to determine who's good and who's not. Some will try to take advantage of you. Some will be really helpful. So I think you just have to have luck by your side. But also you have to look at the agency fee. You have to look at the terms, if they're going to take care of you, if you get injured, if you try to transfer from the team you're playing for. You have to look at all those things. Is the agency willing to take care of you when you're injured? Stuff like that. So it's a lot of things. You have to factor in a lot of things before you choose the agency that you want to work with.
That's really good advice, particularly around those aspects, as in, hey, no, it's not just about getting a job. It's also about what if you're not doing so well on the court.
Yes.
So that's awesome advice. You previously mentioned the camaraderie around the game. You left the country, come back, there's still camaraderie around. And having been part of multiple teams, is there a teammate that you still connect? You randomly met one of those teams, you still are so strongly connected, who will always be there when basketball is over? And what made that person that person?
From the first team that I played for, Alice Dab in Oman, I think I have the coach, Coach Mohammed. He's one of my best friends. He gave me my first professional stint. He has remained my friend for almost 8 years now. I think he's more of a brother, more of a big brother to me. I talk to him all the time. Even when I'm playing for other teams, I normally have conversations with him, trying to figure out how the league is going for him, how the league is going for me. He gets so excited when I'm winning games outside of Oman. I also get excited when he's winning games. And is the reason why I keep on going back to Oman, because I feel like we just have that brotherhood relationship. Like me and him, we are too close. We go to barbecues together, all that. So I think he's one of my best friends. There's also George Williams. I won a championship with him in Al Bashair last season. Also one of my best friends, and I keep in touch with him. I look forward to playing with him again in maybe the next season or so.
Okay, great. I mean, those people that we meet along the way of the sports journey make a big difference in our life, in our enjoyment. Now, one aspect that I see on the SPRTER app on your profile when we're talking about making a difference in our lives, you are also very passionate about the community, the fight against discrimination, supporting children, and so on. Can you talk a little bit about those aspects and what that means to you?
I normally say that the game is ours, and you cannot grow yourself if you don't have the community. If it's not for the people that I grew up with, I don't think I would have been who I am right now. So it's my responsibility as a ball player to give back to the society that made me who I am. The people I trained with, the people who used to see me in the morning going for workouts, the support I used to get from them. So now I feel like I have to give back to them through the game of basketball. I have a women basketball team that I'm sponsoring back home, the Swish women basketball. They are going to be playing in the league for the first time from June 6th all the way to the end of the year. So I'm wishing them a lot of luck. I hope I will be watching them play during the season. Also, I've been organizing basketball tournaments, circuits around Kenya, the Ariel Okall basketball tournaments. So this one is just to, make sure that people don't engage in bad things. People focus on basketball school and all that, trying to make sure they don't get in trouble and stuff like that. There's a lot of philanthropic activities I've been doing. I've been collaborating with my sister, Felmas. We are doing great things. And right now, I think in the next 3 months, we will launch our basketball court back home. We have been trying to, construct it from zero. It's already finished. When we are going to get through with it, we will post it and people can see. Those ones who are following me on Instagram and on the SPRTER app, I'll post it there. They can see what we've been doing here.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, and you're engaged in so many different aspects. And I also want to highlight the doctor's report when you talk about growing the game. That to me is also one way of giving back and taking leadership in disseminating, hey, here are some amazing talents that are really you got to check out and support. So it's not, like when we think about charities, like, yeah, like you're sponsoring a team, that's amazing. I wasn't aware of that. But
I am.
and that's something like, how did you even come up with, hey, let me sponsor and support a women's basketball team?
My sister, I have 5 sisters. Felmas, she plays for Troy University, Trojans in Alabama. And then I have 4 more sisters who play basketball. And they used to complain, we don't have a place to go and play, we don't have a place. So I said, okay, let us start our own team and you guys can play for a team that is yours. So we started a team, got other girls to come and team up with my sisters, and now they have a really good team.
That's
That's how it
amazing.
started. As simple as that. And we started giving them resources and all that. And now, when we finish building the court, they will have a place to go and train.
That's so phenomenal. As in, it's so much leadership in terms of, you know what, there's no court, let's build the court. There's no team, let's build a team. Let's do it. I love that mentality. And
now everything is going to be owned by the team. It's going to be 100%. It's going to be theirs. They can do whatever they want with it. Our job is supporting them and giving leadership and making sure that they are on the right track.
That's amazing. I love that. Before we wrap it up, we have one segment which we call Break the Rules. In Break the Rules, I ask you to make one change to the game of basketball that would make the game of basketball better.
One change. That's tough. Let me see. Break the rules. I don't think I have answers for that, but I would say in women basketball, I don't understand why they have to go to school for 4 years to go pro. They can do it the way the men do it. In the NCAA, in the men, you don't need to go all the way for 4 years for you to go pro. I understand maybe it's because of the revenue and all that, and they say the W doesn't pay a lot. But I think they can change that. They have the capabilities and they have what it takes to change that. And we can get these girls to the pros, probably the W, as early as possible. Because you find other players playing in college for a long time, and by the time they're supposed to go to the league, maybe they get injured, and their professional career ends before it starts. So I think that's the one thing that I might change to make sure that we get more girls playing, and also increase the number of teams in the W. Get 4 more teams so that we can get more games and we can get more players in the league. Yeah.
I think that's a phenomenal rule change. And we've seen that even some of the players that were drafted in the latest round, they weren't even given a contract because there's so few teams. So I think another aspect, while we're at this, the salary cap in the WNBA, even though they have 12 slots, because of the salary cap, many teams don't even use the 12 slots. They use 11 slots because they need to stay under that salary cap. So by basically increasing that salary cap, we could also provide more access, more opportunities.
More opportunities for players.
So your sister plays at Troy. Do you sometimes have like one-on-ones? How do you sometimes play against another? Or like what brought her there?
We used to. Now we have that sportsmanship, respect. Like when she's home, I'm home. We normally try to play on the same team because we don't want to, I don't want to go out there and I beat her one-on-one. And if she beats me, it's gonna be something different. People will talk. So we try to be on the same team up and beat others. If we go to a tournament, we team up and win. So we have that sportsmanship, respect. We don't want to compete against each other. But in terms of accolades and championships and games, we try to compete. In a season, who will win more? In a season, who will get individual accolades? So those ones, we compete. And even everybody at home kind of competes when it comes to their respective leagues where they play. So we go at each other that way, but in one-on-ones, we try to avoid it as much as possible.
Good. That keeps the fun in the family.
Yeah.
I love that. We just beat others.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I want to be cognizant of your time, but this was such awesome insights that you provided here of your career of basketball, the growth of basketball in Africa, what it means to select an agent. So I know that our listeners are gonna get a lot of value from this interview, and I want to say thank you for joining us, for your time, your insights. Anyone who's interested in connecting with Ariel more, follow him along on Insta, follow the Doctor's Report, we'll link it out, and follow him on the SPRTER app where he's going to provide some more updates, and also check out his experience store there where he's really providing some amazing opportunities to connect, as well as some opportunities for sponsors to get involved as well. So make sure to check him out over there as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Ariel.
I appreciate it.
Have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.